There's a war that no one sees, no battlefield, no blood, no noise. Just a quiet war fought in the space between the heart and the mind. A war where every soldier wears your face. You smile while your soul trembles. You say, "I'm okay," when something inside you is screaming. You keep moving, keep performing, keep surviving, because slowing down would mean feeling everything you've buried. This is the silent war within, and it shapes every decision you make. You've been taught to suppress your emotions, not by malice, but by culture. From childhood, you learn that good people don't get angry, that crying is weakness, that sadness is shameful, that fear is failure. And so you became skilled at pretending. You swallowed your rage with politeness. You replaced grief with distraction. You hid anxiety behind productivity. You turned your heart into a locked room and convinced yourself that silence meant peace. But silence and peace are not the same thing. One hides pain, the other heals it. Psychology calls this emotional suppression. It's when your nervous system learns that expression equals danger. So it compresses, tightens, and controls until your own emotions become strangers to you. You no longer feel sadness, you feel fatigue. You don't feel anger, you feel stress. You don't feel loneliness. You just keep scrolling. You call it burnout, but it's actually your soul begging to be felt. Every suppressed emotion waits patiently. It doesn't disappear. It stores itself in your body, your tone, your choices. It becomes muscle tension, headaches, insomnia, and overthinking. It becomes that tightness in your chest when someone says something that sounds just a little too familiar. And when the body can't hold it anymore, it releases in explosions you can't control. A single comment triggers years of stored resentment. A minor inconvenience awakens decades of suppressed grief. You say, "I don't know why I overreacted," but your body knows exactly why. Because what you call an overreaction is just emotion finally escaping its cage. The silent war within isn't fought between good and bad emotions. It has fought between the parts of you that want to feel and the parts of you that are terrified to feel again. The part that wants peace versus the part that believes peace isn't safe. Because when you grow up equating love with pain, attention with control, or silence with safety, your body learns to mistrust calmness. You've trained yourself to expect storms, so when life gets still, you start a new one, unconsciously. Suppression doesn't protect you forever. It only delays the truth. And the truth always returns in louder, stranger ways. That's why you wake up anxious for no reason. Why you feel empty even when everything looks fine. Why you sabotage moments of joy. Because your unhealed emotions are still fighting the last war. They're trying to finish what you refuse to face. Healing begins when you stop treating emotion like an enemy. When you realize that anger isn't destruction, it's information. That sadness isn't weakness, it's honesty. That fear isn't failure, it's your instinct trying to protect you. Your emotions aren't against you. They are for you. They are messages written in the language of the soul. You don't need to silence them. You need to learn to listen. So pause for a moment, close your eyes. Ask yourself, what emotion have I ignored the longest? Which feeling do I fear the most? You'll know the answer by the way your body reacts, by the way your chest tightens or your throat burns. That's the emotion waiting for permission to exist. And the moment you allow it to surface, you win the war without fighting. Suppressed emotions don't just disappear. They evolve into habits, defense mechanisms, and personality traits. That's why the calmest people can be the angriest. Why the most helpful people can be the loneliest. Why the most disciplined minds often battle the noisiest thoughts. We become experts at disguising pain as purpose, at calling trauma motivation, at labeling exhaustion as commitment, but the body never lies. It remembers everything you try to forget. To end the silent war, you must surrender not to pain, but to truth. To sit with the feelings you've labeled inconvenient. To cry without apology. To let yourself feel something without needing to fix it. Because real peace doesn't come from control, it comes from integration. It's when every emotion, the anger, the grief, the love, the fear, finally finds a seat at the same table. The war within ends when you stop running from yourself. When you stop punishing emotion for existing. When you stop believing that strength means silence. The world doesn't need your perfection, it needs your presence. Your honesty, your wholeness. Because no one wins when you keep pretending you're fine. Not your family, not your friends, and especially not you. If this story resonated with your soul, subscribe not just for content, but for clarity. Because healing begins the moment you stop fighting yourself. Thanks for listening.